Right, let's go to the phone lines. 03717223344. We're talking about the owners of your club. Do they need to understand the DNA of it? And then if they start changing things, like Newcastle owners want to change the badge, what do you make of that? Liam is a Newcastle fan. Perfect for call number one. Hello, Liam.
Hi, lads. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm spot on. Hi, Andy. I just rang up. I'll be honest with you. When I heard the news this afternoon, I was gutted a little bit. I think it's an iconic badge. That's certainly, since I've been alive, it's been ever present on my shirt. And I do get sometimes you've got to move with the change, but it's such a beautiful badge and iconic to Newcastle. Then I just think it's a needless change that the owners and the club don't need to make. So it's going to take some beating the design of the existing badge, but I just think the general consensus up here from like social media and friends and etc. We're all of the same opinion. Like, it's a needless change that the club don't need to make.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, Liam, about the needless change, because it's not something like you read it like digital, whatever it's called, digital something over there.
Digital.
Yeah, you said think digital. I just
move
think
with the digital times or something.
You're right. When you look at Newcastle's badge, it's a lovely badge. Do you know what I mean? Like, Arsenal have had some great badges, and when they change it, I'm like, oh, don't change it, leave it. So, do you really need to change the crest? Like,
No.
You change the kit every year. You don't need to change the crest.
Liam, how old are you?
37.
Do you think it's I mean, you're not old by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, you are young. But do you think do you think moving into the digital age is something that needs?
No, I think there's some things, Andy, that you can't do with media and all the rest of it. But something like the club crest on the strip, as I say, it's so iconic and it's so well detailed and everything about it. It just seems a pointless change. I mean, you look back at some of the badges that we've had in the past. As I say, when you look through the times, it's definitely the best badge we've had to date, in my opinion. And you kind of, it's just a shame more than anything else. You know, hopefully if they do change it, and it's very minor details, so to speak, to bring it up to this digital age. And I think it must be difficultly recreating it. I think what they're suggesting on the strips and things like that, and how they print it and how they make it. But I mean, you go back to when it was stitched into your football top as opposed to like the printed detail, and it's just like I say, it's just a fantastic badge, and it would be such a shame to lose it.
Liam, do you think there'll be green in it, in the new crest?
Well, green and white stripes, do you think?
Well, I'm just asking. I'm just asking, do you think there'll be green in it? You know, the obvious connection?
No, well, we had green strips, if you remember rightly, in the Adidas one that we've had, at the away kit. We had that before the Saudi involvement, so let's hope that if they do make the change, it's very minor, and it's still a very iconic badge in the Premier League.
What a great call. Thanks for that, Liam. Let's go to another Newcastle fan. Josh joins us. Hello, Josh. Hello, Josh.
You all right?
Hello, Josh. We're good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you very much. First time call, great show as always.
Thanks, man. What's your view?
I'm actually quite excited to see what Newcastle will do with this badge, if I'm honest. Don't get me wrong, the badge we've got at the minute, it is iconic, but I understand where the club are coming from. If they're wanting to get more fans on board and have to mass produce some of the shirts, it's a really difficult badge to try and do that. I think unpopular opinion.
Hold on. Sorry. Say that again. What? Sorry. I didn't understand. Say that again.
So, in terms of the printing of the shirts, it's quite a complicated badge to either get printed or get the machinery to do it. So I imagine to save some costs, what they'll want to do is simplify the badge so it's quicker and easier to put on shirts and mass produce it.
When you say it's more difficult, how have you come to that conclusion? Surely it's a machine, you press a button, the machine does it.
No, but if you think about you only have to look at the Castor badges on the shirts that we had before. Now, obviously, there was problems with the Castor manufacturing, and it's because with the machines, sometimes some of the lettering, it'll merge together. So if it's too close or it's too intricate, the badge actually looks a bit... It looks worse off, really, because the machine can't get it so close.
Okay. That's interesting. You had a badge where it was just like big letters, right? Like nufc, is that right?
Yeah, like unpopular opinion for most people, but I was actually a massive fan of that badge. You know, I'm not. I'm only 29, so I never, other than the third kit this season, I've not had it on a kit. But I'd always been a massive fan of that. Quite simplistic. It's a little bit different. I guess the argument would be it's really similar to what Leeds had at the time as well.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like what was going round the mill. But it'll be interesting to see how they can keep the badge iconic but still simplify it.
Yeah. Just quickly as well, do you think it makes a difference if the owners understand the club? For argument's sake, are you still there, Josh?
100%.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think
100%.
if Alan Shearer walks in a room and your new owners say, who's that? Does that matter if they're ploughing billions in?
I think with the owners we've got, you can see from previous appointments that usually what they'll do is they'll hire people within the club that know football and know what we're about.
Okay.
I feel like if you're at the top of the board, yes, it helps. But realistically, if he's getting the people in that do understand the club, maybe he himself doesn't. But as long as he's employing people within the club that do understand and can help push us forward and help keep the fan engagement, I think that should be all right.
Okay. You've been great. Thanks for that, Josh. Have a lovely afternoon.
All right. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Thanks, man.
I'm wondering if Josh works for Newcastle. I'm starting as he was talking there, he's the way he delivered that message.
Yeah, he works in the club shop.
Yeah, he does.
Those badges.
That's why he knows. This is why we're doing it. But he said, I can't act like I work here, so I wish to let him know that. This is why I think they may be doing it.
Yeah. All on special offer at $19.99. Yeah. Still to come, we're building up to another huge weekend of Premier League football. But first, it's time for no Googling. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read it out as it's written.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
See if you can answer this question.
Right.
Good luck, Darren.
Oh, thanks.
We want to know who was the first player during the Premier League era to make a direct transfer between both clubs. Now, your question is going to be, what clubs?
Yeah.
I've no idea. Because it's not written there. Let's have a look at the answer and then I can tell you. Newcastle and Chelsea. There you go. Who was the first player during the Premier League era to make a direct transfer between Newcastle and Chelsea? I think it's Dell. He's well and truly on the beach, isn't he? Who have you gone for? No, who's that? CB, who's that? It's wrong.
Okay. Didn't Babayaro go from...
No, it's way before that.
Okay.
All right, first one. I'm going to give you a clue to the answer, so don't cheat.
Right.
When we come back. Before the break, I asked the question, who is the first player during the Premier League era to make a direct transfer between Newcastle and Chelsea? You don't know, I'm guessing.
Yep. Right.
Do you want some clues?
Yeah.
Write down. Right,
do I need to write down?
Yeah, right. So, first name is 2 clues. First name. You hear it on the underground when you go to the bank station. Mind the
gap.
All right. Next bit is what you put on your chips. I'm not a fan of it.
Vinegar.
Write that down. All right. Don't say it. All right, that's his first name. Don't say it aloud. Don't say it.
Yeah.
Second name is what you get with chips sometime. Mushy.
Peas.
Write that down. And last bit is what animal wakes you up in the morning.
Oh, what's that called again? A cockerel.
Right, write that down. That's his surname.
Cockerel.
All of that. The last 2 syllables. So what you got?
Gap, vinegar, peas, cockerel.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So his first name is...
Oh, no. Gap, vinegar. Gap, vinegar.
Take the...
Gap, vinegar.
Only use the first syllable of vinegar.
It's a gap, vin.
That's it.
Gap, vin.
That's his first name.
Gap, vin.
And what's the
Gap, vin, peas, cockerel.
Oh, but it's there.
Gap, vin, on. Gap, vin, peas, cockerel.
Yeah.
Gavin Peacock.
Yes! Come on! Well done. Good work.
Gap, vinegar, peas, cockerel. It's Gavin Peacock, is it?
Trust me, cockerel was a tough one today. Trust me.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.